in practical and professional ways to dramatically reduce your model size. So this means that you'll be learning how to reduce your model size, how to increase performance, how to speed up refresh, and overall Power BI management and performance. So our guest is an outstanding instructor. She has experience in the edtech. She has taught in some edtech companies, and now she's bringing in our expertise here so that we can gain from her wealth of knowledge. This is someone who has been deep in Power BI expertise and real world experience. Currently, she works at an engineering company, Kappa and Belto. So this is not just one of those masterclass or one of those 2 hours of learning what you have learned before. This is someone bringing real world experience to you for free. So I hope you will learn a lot from this class, and I hope you will participate and be attentive. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our guest instructor, Sandra Asagade. Sandra, good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, I can hear you, Miriam. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for welcoming our invitation. We're glad
It's
to
so
have.
good to be here.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
the introduction. Thank you for the introduction.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mom. So the stage is yours. Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Sandra Asagade. I am a Microsoft certified Power BI data analyst, and I also do content creating by the side where I share useful data related content to help beginners and also working professionals in their data journey. Yeah, and in today's masterclass, like Miriam has said, I'm going to be showing you hands-on um, practicals on how to get the most out of Power Query, not just how to click buttons, right? Because when most beginners hear about Power Query, they think it's just to click buttons. But in this masterclass, I'm going to be showing you how to think like a data analyst. Because for every button you are clicking, there should be a reason why you're clicking that button. There should be an end result. So, Miriam, I'm going to be sharing my slide very soon. So just let me know if you can see it. And also during the course of this master class, I may not be able to answer your questions. So probably you are dropping questions in the chat. I may not be able to answer your questions maybe until after I am done. Okay. All right, just hold on for me. Sorry, I'm just trying to get my everything sorted on my end. All right, so before we start, I would just like to know where we are all joining from. Okay, so you've heard about me. The host has introduced me already. So I would like to know where we are joining from, what we hope to achieve to get at the end of this masterclass. So you can drop that in the chat quickly. Hi, Ebenezer. Thank you for joining. All right, so Ebenezer says that he hopes to build a better understanding and improve his technical and cognitive skills in data cleaning by the end of the class. That's fantastic. And trust me, this is that class for you. I think data cleaning is one of my or one of the best things that I love doing in Power BI, or that I love doing in data analysis. Preparing the data, cleaning data is one of the best things that I love doing. So yeah, so this class is going to be interesting. It's going to be fun too. All right, so let's get into what we have for today. So in this class, we are going to see advanced data cleaning and transformation techniques for high performance semantic models in Power BI. So please let me know if you can see my screen. Miriam, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen. Your screen. I can see your screen.
All right. Thank you. So when you see advanced, okay, it's not going to be, I know when most people see advanced, they think, oh, there's going to be coding or maybe the master class is going to be too technical. No. The term advanced here is used to show you more efficient ways you can clean your data in Power Query. Okay, because if you use Power Query to clean your data, it's quite easier to clean your data in Power Query than maybe using functions to clean your data like in Excel. And then for those of you who don't know what a semantic model is, A semantic model is basically your tables, okay? For every visualization or for every dashboard that you build in Power BI, when you publish that dashboard to the Power BI service, it is going to be published as a semantic model. So your tables, your DAX, your calculations, and everything that makes up your report is going to be published as a semantic model. Okay. All right. So in this masterclass, we're going to be working with raw data in Power Query. We are going to see how to build better relationships. And again, data preparation in Power Query is the foundation. And everything that we're going to be doing in Power Query is about three things: understanding the data, cleaning it, and structuring it for performance. So if you get this stage right, everything else in Power BI becomes easier. Okay. When you get a data, what do you do first? I know not all data will be dirty, not all data will need cleaning, but you should still explore your data for the possibilities. A data might look clean at first glance, but you will be shocked that if you explore further, you will see that it has things or inconsistencies that needs to be fixed. So your data or your dashboard is only as good as the data behind it. If the data behind your dashboard is good, your dashboard is going to be excellent. You clean because you want people to trust your analysis. You clean your data because you want people to trust your analysis. Without cleaning or structuring your data or transforming your data, you might end up presenting an analysis that isn't true. So Power Query is not just for cleaning, actually. It is also where we design reliability, scalability, and performance of our Power BI solution. So a lot of people jump straight into building visuals, but so if you're one of those people, this class is actually for you. But the real work happens before that. Okay, so Power BI is where your Power Query is where you can shape your data into something that Power BI can actually use efficiently. So why is data preparation critical? If you work in an organization that, they rely heavily on data and they have data across several departments, and they also have a lot of transactions, daily transactions. So every day they are storing data. When you want to visualize or build a report for them, and your data is not structured, the data you want to use for that report is not structured. These are the things that can happen. Your report can slow or can slow down. So the performance of your report can slow down. You will have, or you might have, inconsistent results, duplicate entries, even refresh failures. I've had situations whereby after building a report, the report was working fine, then after some time, let's say about a month later, I saw that the report refused to refresh. So when I checked, I saw that the people who entered new data or new records made mistake in the date. So instead of putting the date the right way, they put it in a way that, it just broke the refresh schedule. And the reason why I was able to know was because for every report that I publish to Power BI service, I make sure that I set a refresh alert failure. So let's say a report fails to refresh, I get an alert via my email that, oh, this report failed to refresh. And then when I click to find out what happened, I'm able to trace where that failure is coming from. So when that happened, I saw that that failure occurred because of an incorrect date that was entered into the data. Okay, because when you work in a growing industry, you also have growing data. So another common reporting issues when you do not prepare your data the right way is incorrect business insights. Imagine if your stakeholder, or let's say your end user, is expecting revenue to be, let's say 2 million naira, but your insight is showing 50 million naira. So what could be the issue? Maybe it could be that there are duplicates. There are duplicate rows in your data. So in this masterclass, you're going to see how to handle duplicates, how to efficiently remove duplicates. All right, so let's get right into the practicals for today. So Miriam, you just let me know when you can see my Power BI screen. I'm about to share it. Okay, so just let me know when you can see my Power BI screen.
Yes, I can see your screen. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. All right. So if you have used Power BI before, right? This is the interface that shows when you open it for the first time, right? You have your visualization pane on the right. You have your report view, your table view, your model view, but these are not what we want to cover for today. So how do you locate the Power Query in Microsoft Power BI? You can find this in your Home tab, okay? In your Home tab, there's a Query section. In that Query section, you see Transform Data. So you can click on Transform Data and click on Transform Data, or you can just click on this icon. So please let me know if you can see my Power Query screen.
It's not yet up. I think it's coming up.
I think I know why. Let me just share my full screen.
Yeah, I can see it now.
Yeah.
It's up.
Okay. You can see it now, right?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So now Power Query is like your kitchen. When you want to prepare food, you have your kitchen. In your kitchen, there are different things that can help you in preparing that food that you want to prepare. You have your spices, your pots, your cooking utensils, your water, your food stuff, and everything. In that same way, so like kitchen is to cooking, Power Query is to cleaning and preparing your data. Now, when you click on that transform data, you'll be taken to this Power Query field or this Power Query area in Power BI. So here we can clean our data, we can structure it, just the way we like. If you are new to Power Query, you might see a blank screen when you open Power Query for the first time. Okay, so the reason why we have these queries by the left is because I have imported this data. Okay, but if you are new to Power Query, it is very easy to get data. To get data in Power Query, all you need to do is come to your new source. In your home tab, you see the new source. And the new source, you see that there are so many sources to connect to. There's Excel workbook, SQL server, analysis services, text/CSV. You can connect to web data and even more. So when you click on more, you'll be able to see other connectors. Now, when you open your Power Query, when you bring in your data, the first thing to do is to check that data if it is healthy. So I call it like checking the health status of your data. And how do you do that? So on the View tab, in my data preview section, I have this column distribution. So I'm going to explain what all of these are very soon. So I have column quality, column distribution, and column profile. The column quality shows the quality details in the data. So when I select that, you will see the valid, error, and empty fields displayed. It will tell you how many percent of your data are valid, they're free of errors, how many percent of your data have errors, how many percent of your data are blanks. Okay, so this is very good. This is an easier way to quickly check what is missing in your data. And then when I select this column distribution shows us how the values in our data, they are distributed. And this is one of the ways to catch a duplicate or to spot a duplicate when you turn on your column distribution. Because probably we have a column like ID now, for example, and in our, let's say customer ID, in our customer ID, there isn't supposed to be a duplicate. So if our column distribution is showing us that one column is longer than the other column, that means there's a duplicate somewhere. So you're going to see it very soon. And then when you turn on your column profile, it shows you your column statistics. How many values are in your data? How many errors do you have? How many empty cells do you have? How many distinct? How many unique? And it also shows you the values, okay, and the number of times that they appeared. So when I over on these bars, I'll see the number of times that they appeared. All right. So this is the first thing that you should do when you open your Power Query. Make sure that you turn this on, your column quality, your column profile, your column distribution. This is very good, and you're going to see why this is very good soon. All right. So I don't know, I think most of us are familiar with the Superstore data set. All right. So the Superstore data set is a very popular data set in the data analytics field. So I have this data from a Superstore. When you open up your data like this, the first thing that you want to do is to understand what that data is about. Okay. So this data is from a store. It has fields like order ID, which tells us where which tells us or which shows the IDs of orders placed, right? We also have the order dates, the ship date, the ship mode, the customer ID, the customer name, the customer segment, the country, the city, the state, the postal code, the product ID, the category, the subcategory, the product name, the sales, okay, the sales column, the quantity column, the discount column, and then the profit column. If you want to know how many columns you have in your data, all you need to do is come to the bottom left. So at the bottom left, if you can see my cursor moving left to right, so all you need to do is come to that bottom left. You will see the number of columns that you have in your data. So in this Superstore data, I have 20 columns and over 999 rows. All right. The first thing that I like to do whenever I get a data set, like I said, is to turn on, my column distribution, quality, and profile, and then go over the columns one by one so that I know what I need to do to make it better before I load it into Power BI. In my order ID column, I can see that I have 479 distinct order IDs with 226 unique. So what does distinct, what's the difference between distinct and unique? So here's the difference. Distinct means how many different IDs, okay? How many different IDs do you have? That's distinct. Unique means from these different IDs, how many of them appeared just once? That is unique. Okay. So here I know that in total, there are 479 other IDs, but only 226 are unique. Remember I said that these columns help to tell us if there are duplicates in our data. And before we even proceed, right now in Power Query will only give you column profiling based on the top 1,000 rows. So at the bottom left where you saw the total number of columns, if you check, you will also see column profiling based on the top 1,000 rows. So right now, these valid, error, and empty fields, they are only showing for the top 1,000 rows. And when you check here, you see that we have over 999 rows. That means it can be more than 1,000 rows, right? So you can also change this from based on top 1,000 rows. When I click on it, I can change it to column profiling based on the entire data set. And why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that I get to see, the information based on the entire data set. Because right now I can only see 479 distinct, but they can be more than that. Okay. So I can select column profiling based on the entire data set. So do you see what happens when I did that? Now we have 5,009 distinct order IDs with only 2,538 order IDs unique. All right. So does this mean that there are duplicates? Because if there are no duplicates, we should have something like maybe 5,009 distinct, 5,009 unique. So if we have 5,009 different order IDs, if there are no duplicates, we should also have 5,009 unique in this preview. So now, how do you know if they are duplicates, or how can you remove duplicates if at all they are duplicates? I like to tell people, especially beginners, don't remove duplicates column by column. Don't do that. So if you want to remove duplicates by column, all you need to do is right click on that column that you want to remove duplicate from. So if I right click on this order ID, okay, I can remove duplicates. But before you do that, check if it's, if you are doing the right thing. I don't support this. If you want to remove duplicates, it's best to do it row by row. That way you don't lose data. And I'll explain it very soon. I can see that this order ID, right, this first one, it's showing twice. In layman eye, it will look like, okay, it's duplicates. But if you go further, okay, the dates, they are the same. The ship mode is the same. The customer is the same, of course. So one customer can, okay, let's see the product also. All right. So you can see that the products are different. That is because these products that were ordered, these two products that were ordered by this customer on this date, they share the same order ID. So don't remove duplicates blindly, and don't remove column by column. Don't do that. All right. So the best way to remove duplicates from your data is by removing it from the table row by row. And how can you find that table? In your table here, you would see this table icon. Okay, this table icon, when you click on it, all right, so please hold on. Right, so I think it's not allowing me to remove the duplicates because there is something I need to do. All right, so you can notice that my order dates, this is supposed to be a date, okay? So if you need to Power Query to know your data type, beside your column name, you would see the data type. So ABC is for text, all right? So to change the data type, you can select that icon, and then you see, the data types that you can change to. So for order ID, this is fine. For the order date, this is supposed to be a date, so we should change it to a date, not ABC123. The reason why it is showing ABC123 is because Power Query is confused. It doesn't know what data type to give this particular column. And the reason is because we are having some dates as actual dates, and because if it's a date, it's supposed to appear on the right-hand side, okay? But it is not able to detect others, and very soon you're going to know why. So the reason why it's not able to detect others is because it is seeing the dates. My Power Query is seeing the dates as day, month, year, while my system's date settings is month, day, year. Okay, so this is very common when working with dates in Power Query. So you can So even when I try to change it, so let's say I come here, okay, I click on this ABC123, and then I select date. You will see that it shows errors for some. So the reason why it is showing errors for these ones is because it is not able to properly identify them as dates. Okay, it is not able to properly identify them as dates. So let's change this back. So let's say, okay, so now to correct this, we are going to change the locale so that it uses. So first of all, let me change this. All right. So to change the locale, okay, when you select this icon for the data type, you're going to see the list of data types that you can apply. So I'm going to select using locale. And then when I do that, my data type, I will change it to date. Okay, my locale, so you can see that it is seeing it as day, month here, but we wanted to see it as month, day, year. So I'm going to change this to English United States. Okay, month, day, year. Okay, all right. All right, so I still had error. And the reason why this is happening is because I changed data type previously. So I need to cancel these steps. So I'll just cancel it and go back to how it was before. All right. So again, to cancel your step or to go back to a previous step, all you need to do is come to your applied steps and just click on this X to go back because there's no Ctrl Z. Okay, there's no Ctrl Z in Power Query. You can only cancel your steps or go back to a previous steps and correct, what you did. All right. So because I canceled that steps, it has taken me back to the just to the promoted header steps. Okay. Before it automatically detected my data type. So let's say you have a data like this. ABC123 is the data type for all your columns. There's a way to easily tell Power Query to auto detect data type so that you don't need to go to each column and change data type one by one. It can be stressful because right now we have 20 columns. All right. So what I'm going to do is to select all my columns. And to select all your columns, first of all, you just select one column. Okay, so right now I've selected the order ID column and then I'll press Ctrl A. Okay, so Ctrl A is going to select everything. And then I'm going to go to my transform tab. In my transform tab, there is this detect data type button. So it will automatically detect the data type of your columns or the selected columns. So I'm going to click on that. Okay, so this is good. So you see now that I did not have to manually, go to each column and then change the data type. So now let's focus, let us work on the order date and the ship date because they both have the same issues. So if you ever have an issue like this, do not come here to change it to a date. Because if you do, it is going to show you error. All right. So if you have an order date like this, you click on the data type icon, go to using locale. Remember what the issue was. Power Query is not able to identify some dates as dates, right? Because my laptop settings is month, day, year. And date that we have here, some of them are month, day, year, some of them are day, month, year. So we need to make them to be consistent. Okay. So I'm going to change data type to date, and then the locale to English United States. Okay, so you can see what the sample input values looks like. It shows the month first, 3/29/2016. That is month, day, here, which is what we want. So I'll select OK. So now, what do you notice? Everything is how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to do the same thing for the ship date. Right, so you select that data type icon using locale, and then change the data type to date, change the locale, to English United States. So it doesn't really have to be English United States, okay? So just change it to the date format that, that is that is aligned to your PC's format, your laptop's format, and then okay. So now we've sorted this date issue. So I can go further to check my data type, to see if everything is how it's supposed to be. My product ID is text, which is okay. It's not supposed to be a number because it has, varying characters. So we have our values as, with the correct data type. So Power Query is able to automatically detect your data type for you. It is that smart. Okay. So if you have a table that has like maybe 30 columns, and these 30 columns are columns that you want to make use of, you can just select everything, right? Select your entire column or your entire data by selecting one column first and then Control A to select everything. And then you go to your transform tab and then you click on detect data type to automatically detect the data types. Good. Now, so another thing that I would like to show you. So let's say we have the superstore data, and then I want to break it down into, fact table and dimension table. All right. So we've already performed some steps here, some cleaning, some transformations here. And I do not want to, so I can do two things. I can duplicate this superstore data. That is, I can copy and paste it, right? I can duplicate this data, or I can reference it. All right, so before we do that, there's one last thing. So I said the duplicate part, right? If you want to remove duplicates from your entire data, you select this table icon beside your table, select it, and then you see remove duplicate. Remember the first time when I tried to do this, I didn't see anything. And that was because the data cleaning, or I was not done cleaning my data, I was not done transforming my data. And that was because of the two dates that we have here, the order date and the ship date. We needed to fix the data type so that our data can be whole. So if there is an issue with your data type in some columns, you will not be able to see the remove duplicates. So the best thing to do is to fix data type issues, and then you can come here to this small table icon and then remove duplicates. So this is best practice. I do not advise anybody to remove duplicates column by column. Don't do that. You will lose information, okay? So now I want to break this superstore data into fact and dimension table. And in this fact and dimension table, I want to have, so right now I can see the order ID, order date, ship mode, customer ID, okay, customer name, customer segment. So that means we can have a customer table, right, from this. And then we have country, city, state, postal code, region. So these can fall into location table. Then I have the product ID, category, subcategory, product name. So all of these can fall in dimension table. If you are confused as to what a fact or dimension table is, in let's say in modeling, okay, when you have tables from, or when you have different tables that are related, maybe there's a relationship between these two tables, okay, so you can have fact dimension table. Dimension tables are strictly dimensional. So what do I mean? So let's say we have a customer table. It focuses just on customers alone, and your dimension table, you are not allowed to have duplicates. There isn't supposed to be a duplicate, okay, in your dimension table. Your dimension table helps you define what you have in your fact table. Your dimension table can also filter your fact table. Now, your fact table contains the facts about your business. So what are the facts about your business? In this superstore, the fact about the superstore is the order ID, the order date, the ship date, the ship mode, the sales, the quantity, the discount, the profit, because all of these are related to the orders that took place. All right. So I don't want to go too deep into data modeling. So I want to break this superstore table into orders table, customer table, location table, and product table. So the orders table is going to be my fact table because it contains the main fact about the superstore. So like I said, I can do two things. I can duplicate this superstore data, or I can reference it. So if I right click, I can duplicate. But what happens when I duplicate the superstore data? So let me duplicate that. So this is it here. You will notice that the apply step also came with the duplicate. So if I'm trying to load this data into Power BI, it is going to take time, or a lot of time for it to, to load. And this can also affect our model performance. So let's say I have applied so many steps, maybe over 50 steps, and I'm duplicating data for each table that I want to bring out. For the orders table, for the customer table, I'm duplicating the superstore data. By the time I am done with my final step or final transformation, and I want to close and apply it in Power BI, the time which it will take to apply will be much compared to when I am just referencing the data. So I'm going to just delete the superstore data. So I'll just select it and press my delete key. Okay. So make sure that before you delete anything in your Power Query, make sure that it is not referencing anything, or it is not connected to any table. Right. So now the best thing to do when you have applied steps, a lot of applied steps, and then you want to break your table into segments, like what we want to do now, is to reference it. So when I reference this superstore data, so I'll right click and reference. So what do you notice? In the apply step, there is only one step, which is source. That means this superstore 2 is coming from the superstore data, and anything that goes on in this superstore data is also going to affect our reference superstore data. Okay, so if you want to break your table into fact dimension table, the best thing is to reference your main data. When you reference your main data, so I can just disable this so that when I'm loading, I'm closing and applying into Power BI, my main data does not load. Okay. And if it does not load, it is not going to affect the performance of my model. It is not going to slow down my visuals or my reports. To disable a table from loading into Power BI, what do? You right click on your table and then you click on this enable load to disable it. So right now it is enabled. So I'm just going to click on this to disable it. So continue. And then when it disables, it is going to, the text are going to be in italics. Okay. All right. So this first table that we reference, I'm going to call it orders table, which is going to be my facts table. Okay. So I'll just change this. I'll double click and then change this to orders. So in brackets, I'll call it facts. All right. And in my facts table, what do I want in my facts table? I only want the facts about the business. So I'm going to select only the columns that I want. To select the columns that you want in your table, all you need to do is click on this table icon again, go to choose columns. So here you can, select the columns that you want and unselect others. So the first thing I'm going to do is to unselect all the columns and then start picking the columns that I want. So I want the order ID, the order date, the ship date, the ship mode, the customer ID, the customer name are going to be in the customer table. Okay, so I also want the, okay, so let's keep the customer ID. All right, let's keep the customer ID and I will explain why. Because the reason why we're keeping the customer ID in our fact table is so that even when we create our customers table, there is something that connects the fact table to the customer table. And in this case, it is the customer ID. Okay, so when you're doing your data modeling, you need that connection. Then the postal code is going to be what connects the fact table to our location table. Then the product ID is going to be what connects the fact table to our product table. And then I'm going to select the sales, quantity, discounts, and profits. So that is it for the orders table. I'm also going to reference the superstore again so that I can create my customer tables and others. So I'll just reference it. Okay. And then I'll click on this table icon, choose column. Right now, I want to create the customer table. So I'm only going to select the fields that are related to customer. So customer ID, customer name, customer segment. Okay. So I'm going to rename this by double clicking on it, or you can rename it from the properties here. So let's call it dim customer, which means dimension customer. Customer. Okay. So if you notice, remember what I said, that in your dimension tables, you are not allowed to have duplicates. Right now, I can see duplicates. And that is because this is coming from the fact table. Of course, Claire Good made so many orders, probably, right? She ordered for more than one or more than two things in our fact table. So yeah, it's possible that we have that repetition. To remove the duplicate, you come here, don't remove column by column. That is wrong practice because you can, miss out on so many things. So the best way is to come here to your table icon and then remove your duplicates. All right. So after doing that, if you notice in my customer ID, I now have 793 distinct, 793 unique. That means there is no duplicate. If the number of your distinct is equal to the number of your unique, it means that your column is free of duplicates. Okay, so that means we have 793 customers. So we are good to go. All right. So I'm going to reference this superstore again. So let me just name this product. Okay, dim product. Dim product. Choose columns. my product ID, category, subcategory, product name. Okay. And then just like what we did for the customer table, your product table is supposed to be a duplicate-free table. So no two products should have the same ID. Okay, so that's the reason for the dimension table. Each product ID should refer to one product. So I'm going to click on this table icon again and remove duplicate. So right now in my product ID, I can see that, all right, I can see that I have 991 distinct, 982 unique, and some bars or some columns are longer than other columns. That means there are duplicates here. So easily check for the duplicates or to check for the IDs that repeated themselves more than once. I'm just going to select the product ID and then my column statistics is going to show. So I'll just drag this up here. Okay. And the reason why I have this is because I have my column profile turned on. So make sure that you do this when you're working in Power Query. So from here in my value distribution, let me just drag this up. I'm able to see the IDs that repeated themselves more than once. Now, if I'd gone ahead, right, to just, let me bring this down. If I'd come here to just, remove the duplicates from this column, because when you right click on your column, you can remove duplicates. If I'd gone ahead to do that, these informations that we have now will not have them. So we need to investigate, right? Why did these products repeat itself more than once? So these products appeared twice. Yeah, so all these products that are showing us, duplicates, they appeared twice. And to know that, just over on the column, you are going to see the details. All other product IDs, they appeared once. So I'm just going to take one, this first product to see why it's appearing twice. Okay, so I'll just come to my product ID and type in that product ID. And two. All right, so I'm just going to load more because it's not displaying everything right now. So I'm going to click on this load more. Okay, so let me change it to column profiling based on the entire data set and see if it's going to work. Let's see. 1000, I think 4 zeros. Okay, they're just 3 zeros. 495. So I'm just going to try to filter this another way. So using the text filters, okay. So text filters equal to st hyphen 100. I think there are 3 zeros. 4950. Okay. All right. So I've seen one. Why is this product appearing more than once? Let's see. This product is in office supplies category, storage subcategory. So this is what's happening. This product ID has 2 different products attached to it. So this is a problem. All right, this is a problem. If we had gone ahead to just remove the duplicates from the product ID, no problem. Power Query would have done that, but you would have not been able to see an information like this. All right, so that's why I said that the best thing to do is to remove from this table, from the entire table, by clicking on this table icon and then remove your duplicates. So now that I know the issue, right? The issue here is that some product, maybe it was a data entry error, a human error, right? Instead of, or probably the name was changed, the product name was changed, or there was a mistake. What we can do is to create our own unique product ID. Okay, we can create our own unique product ID. And this is how we're going to do it. So I just need to remove this filter step by canceling it. So I hope you are following, right? It is not good, again, it is not good to remove your duplicate column by column, right? So to create our product ID, our unique product ID, we are going to do it in such a way that no 2 products will have the same product ID that we're going to create. And how we're going to do it is that we are going to merge this product ID with the product name. That is going to be our unique product ID. Okay. Or I can decide to just create an index, but no, that's not best practice. Okay, so best practice is to use what you already have to get what you want. So I'm going to duplicate this column, make a copy of this column. I'll right click on it. Okay, so let me just change this column profiling based on the top 1000 rows. All right, so I'll duplicate this column. Okay, so it's good that your original column remains your original column. You don't want to discard it. And then I'll also duplicate the product name. Where is it? Duplicate column. And then I'm going to select both of them. So I'll just select the product ID first of all, hold down my control key and select the product name. So I'll right click on any of them and click on merge columns. So how do I want to merge them? Let me use, okay. So let me use a custom separator and then I'll just put in hyphen. So let's call this product key. So this is going to be our unique product key. Okay. And then I can move this to the, to the first column. So I'll just right click on this product key and come down to move and move to the beginning. So what do you see? We have 1,000 distinct, 1,000 unique. And even if I change my column profiling to be based on the entire data set, I'm still going to have the same number of distinct, the same number of unique, because by the time I merged both the product ID and the product name, I now have distinct values. So that is how to take care of that. And then the last table we want to get from this is the last table we want to get. So I'm just going to reference this. The last table we want to get is our location table. So location, okay, dim location. So I'll just come here to choose columns and select fields that are related to location, which is postal code, region, okay, city, state, country, good. All right, so we can remove this country column because there is only one consistent value in the country column, which is United States. So this column can go. I can just right click on this and remove this column. So it's good to know that any column that you don't need in your data, remove it. Because the more unneeded columns you add to your model or you load into your Power BI, the more it will take for your reports to load, so the slower your model is going to perform. So any unnecessary columns that you don't need, remove them before you load that data into Power BI. All right, so I'm going to remove duplicates from the entire table. So actually, the postal code was supposed to be our ID, like our location key. So let me just move this to the front. But as you can see here, there is a column that is longer than other columns. So let us see what this column is, or who this column is. So when I select that, I can see that this postal code number appeared twice. And this is not possible. This is not realistic because no two locations should have the same postal code, right? Every location to their own postal code. So let's check where this is coming from. So this postal code is 92024. So I'm just going to click on this filter drop down, 92024. Okay. So we have, you see, so we have two different cities attached to one postal code. That is, I don't know how, I don't think that is possible, right? And this can affect our model because in your model, you want to have a cardinality many to one or one to many, not many to many. Okay, you want to have a cardinality many to one or one to many. In most cases, one to many, because in your dimension, why it is one is because your dimension table, you are supposed to have unique values all through. So that is one. That means your values are appearing one times, right? And if I connect my location table to my others fact table, right? It is possible that in my others fact table, this postal code can appear multiple times. And yeah, it is possible because of multiple transactions. Multiple transactions or multiple orders can occur from one city. All right. So we need to make sure that our dimension table, you need to make sure that your dimension tables contain unique values for that dimension. So we're going to do the same thing that we did for the product. We're going to create our own unique location key. So I'll just cancel this filter step and then I'll duplicate this column the postal code column, and also duplicate the city column, because that's where the issue is coming from. We have two different cities sharing the same postal code, so that is wrong. And then I'll duplicate the city. So I'll select both of them. I'll select the postal code copy first, right click, hold down my control key and select the city column. And then I'll right click on any of the columns and merge. So let's merge, let's use a custom merge. Let's say hyphen. Let's call this location key. Okay. So move this to the beginning. I'll just right click, go down to move, and then move to the beginning. So good. So we've done two things recently, right? We created our own unique product key, and we just did the same for location key. So right now you can see 632 distinct. All right, so right now we can see 632 distinct location keys and 632 distinct, unique location keys. That means all of these entries or all the values in these location keys are unique. There's no duplicates. So if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat, all right? So that by the time I'm done, I would answer them. Because we've created location key in the location table and product key in the product table, we need to also have that in our fact table. Because if we're going to connect them, they should have a relationship, or there should be a relationship between the fact table and the dimension table. So the same thing we did for the product key, which is merging the product ID with the product name using the hyphen. We'll do the same thing in our fact table. So in my fact table, remember, I removed the columns. I removed my product name column, but I still have my product ID column here. And I also removed my city column, but I still have my postal code column. So I'm going to bring back the product name column and the city column so that I can create my product key and my location key. Now to do that, in my applied step, instead of coming back here to choose column, I can just come here to my applied step, right? In my applied step, you can edit your step. Yes, there are some steps that you take that you can edit. Steps like removing columns. To edit this step, by the right here, I can see this settings icon. So I'll just click on it, my removed other column step. And then I'll select the city column and the product name. Okay. All right. So now I have product ID, product name. So I can select the product ID, hold down control and select the product name, right click and merge. So I'm using the custom merge hyphen, let's call this product key. All right. So it should be exactly the same with what you have in your product table. If not, there's going to be problem in your model. And that can cause or also affect your calculations. If you don't do your modeling well, your calculations will be affected. So now let's do the same thing for postal code and city. So I'll select the postal code, hold down control key and select city. So I'll right click and merge. So custom merge or custom separator hyphen, let's call this location key. Okay, so that is done. We are good. So now, if anything happens in my superstore data, which is the main data, all other tables are also going to receive that change or that update. So even though we are not going to load, or even though we will not be loading this into Power BI, right? But as long as it is in our query, even though it is not being loaded into Power BI, all other tables that are referencing that main table, the main superstore table, they are also going to be updated whenever there is a new update in the main table. Okay, so that's it for the superstore. So I mentioned that if you don't need a column, remove it from your data. You don't need it. Okay, because Power BI stores your data. It doesn't store row by row. No, it stores it column by column. And the more columns that you have in your data, the more storage it takes, basically. And you've seen how to remove the columns that you don't need by selecting and keeping only the ones that you need. So I have this table, okay, this P and L table, and it has 74 columns. Again, to know the number of columns that you have in your data, just check the left-hand side by the bottom. You see the number of columns, and you may also see the number of rows. Okay, not in all cases though. So I have 74 columns. I have 74 columns in this table. Even if you need all the columns in this table, it is best to break them. So how do you even know if you need a column or if you don't need a column? The best way to know is by first like going back to the very beginning. What exactly are you trying to achieve with the data? Is it that you are just trying to clean it, just trying to transform it for the next person, or you are trying to clean and at the end of the day bring out insights from it? So based on the insights that you want to present, or based on your dashboard, whatever you want to show in your dashboard, now go to your columns and see which columns or which fields will help you to bring out those insights. And the fields that will not be useful, remove them. Okay, remove them. So here I am going to keep from the entry number to, okay, so here is what I want to do first of all, before we remove anything. Here's what I want to do first of all. So I have this P&L data, and then it has records of, the profit and loss record of a company. So anytime money comes in, they record it. Anytime money goes out, they record it. So basically, that is just it. And then we have the debit amount, the credit amount. We'll only be using the amount LCY, which is the amount in our local currency. So let's say Naira. So what if I want to also have a column that will show me, okay, what if I also want to have a column for amount in USD? So this is amount in Naira. Okay, let me just change this from LCY to Naira. So let's say NGN. Okay, and I want a column for amount USD. Mind you, all of this information, right, they are for different dates. So best practice is not to get the rate, the exchange rate as at today. That is not best practice. So best practice would be to get the exchange rate as at these dates, or the dates that this transaction took place. That is you showing the true value, the true insight. Okay, because the exchange rates between Naira and dollar in 2023 is different from what it is now in 2026. Okay, so I only need from the entry number column to, let's say, okay, so I only need, let's see, I need the entry number, I need the posting date, let's say I need the account number, the account name, and then the amount engine. So any other column, I'm going to remove them. So I'll come here to this table, choose column. I want select all column. Entry number, so I'll just select the columns that I need. Okay, entry number, posting date. Let's see, document number. Maybe I want to trace if I'm seeing any strange value and I want to trace it. Although we will not do that here, but yeah, keep the important things like how you do in the reward. So account number, account name, description. Let me keep the amount NGN. Okay. Again, I want to get the exchange rate as at this date. Okay, that is what I want to do, to get the exchange rate as at this date. So I've already gone ahead to include the exchange rate from CBN. Okay. And yeah, so we're going to be using the central rate. So there's something called merging. Okay. So merging, if you are conversant with Microsoft Excel, maybe you would have heard of VLOOKUP or your lookup functions. So lookup functions, they help you to bring information from one table into another table. And how can you bring this information from one table into another table? It is based on a shared relationship. What is that shared relationship? That is what they have in common. And what my exchange rate table and my P&L table have in common is the date. Remember, I said that I want to get the exchange rate as at the day or the date, right? So it is the date. Okay. So I'm going to come back to my P&L. Again, I'm going to be, just using the central rate. So I'll come to my P&L and yeah, in my home tab, I am going to click on merge queries. I'm not merging as new. You only merge as new if you don't want to tamper with the original data. But in this case, I want to tamper with the original data. So I'm going to merge as new. Sorry, merge queries, not merge as new. And then I am going to select the posting date. So at the bottom here, you see no previews available. That's because I've not selected my exchange rate table. So I'll just click on this drop down and select my exchange rate table. And then I'll select my date. So you see, when you are merging, right, you merge based on a shared relationship, which in this case is the date. And then I'll say okay. So basically, we're going to use the date to bring that information that we need. So even before you say you want to start analyzing your data, or sorry, start cleaning, start transforming your data. Right now, we are not cleaning, we are transforming. Okay. So even before you say you want to do that, first of all, ask yourself, why do you want to do it? So the solution starts from your head first, before you even click a button in Power Query. I know that I'm to use merge, right? Probably because this is not my first time doing this, okay? And this is this was a situation that I had when working one time, all right? So probably for you, it might not be something new, but that is fine because that's what learning is all about. You can always learn, learn new things. In this Power Query, I don't know 100%, but I know the things to help me achieve what I want. So if I don't know 100% now, it's fine because even me, I don't know 100%, right? But you can learn, the basic things to help you get started. And probably whenever you have any challenge, like I said, the solution starts from your head. So think of what you want to do. After thinking of what you want to do, think of all that you know in Power Query, in Power BI. Use what you know to get what you want. And there is no shame in going online to ask for help or asking ChatGPT. But then if you don't even know what you want, I don't think ChatGPT is going to help you, right? So now I have been able to merge both data sets using the date. To return the central rate, I'm just going to click on this icon beside this exchange rate column. And so I'll turn this use original name as column prefix, and then I will only select the central rate. Okay. All right, so it has returned, the rate as at this date, right? But if you notice, we have 68% valid, 32% empty. This data is over, I think it's 500 rows. That means not all rows were populated, and it's probably due to the fact that there are some dates here that the central rate or the exchange rate was not available for that day. Okay, so let's check. So let me select the blank cells. So let's say the null cells instead, or rather. So let's see. So on these dates, right, the central rate was not, or the exchange rate was not available. It's very, very possible. Okay. So there is something that we can do. There's something called filling down, filling up. So I think this will be stopping for today. All right. So before you even say you want to fill down, fill up, let's come here. Let me see. All right. So we'll come back to that. Okay. So I have this data, this business financials data. It has the year, the month name. So basically, it's a year data for a company. They are trying to track their expenses, their revenue, and everything. And this is a very standard practice, right? In accounting, whenever there is like a category column, because there are subcategories, the person entering the data might just, might just have like the first category up here. So like now, this is the OPEX. So instead of the person entering this data to populate, so for OPEX, we have rent, equipment, marketing, payroll, R&D, and others. So we're also supposed to have OPEX, 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 right? But to them, they were like, okay, if we just have this OPEX here, it's fine. This OPEX here represents this information. But how do we fill other cells, other rows, or other blank cells? It's very easy. There's something called, you can replace value. You can replace your nulls. But if you replace your nulls, you might not have what you want. Because for COGS, which is the cost of goods sold, we also have the blanks under it. So if I replace nulls with OPEX, it is going to also appear under appear in the blanks for cost of goods sold. So the best way is to fill down. In this case, it is to fill down. So I'm going to right click on this column and then go to fill and fill down. So do you see what happens? So now it has filled down the blank cells with the values at the top. So wherever it sees a value, it stops. Okay, and then if it sees blank cells or null cells, it will fill it with the previous non-blank cell, which is what it did here. So we also have revenue or expense. So if you check the filter, you see that we have revenue, we have expense. Okay, revenue is somewhere down there, but the person that entered this data just thought that they were not supposed to fill this place. When the end user sees expense, they will know that, okay, all this information here, they are all under expense, which is a very wrong practice, because if you want to visualize your data, this is going to affect you. Maybe you want to know the total expense, the total revenue. This is going to affect you because there are nulls here. So I'm going to right click and then fill down. Okay, so now let's come back to our P&L. So I'm so sorry. Our time is fast spent, so I'm just going to try and rush this. All right. So we have the central rates for each day, but not all cells were populated. Not all cells were populated. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because it is for each date, I'm going to sort this posting date column so that it starts from the earliest date. Okay. So I'll come here to the posting dates and sort in ascending order. Okay. So when I do that, right, what we want to do now is to populate the nulls with the value of the previous non-null. For example, okay, for this row, we have null. What I want to do is to populate this null with the value that was there before, with the value from the previous cell that is not null, which is this 413.64. All right. So it's possible that on this day, maybe this day was a weekend. Okay. So I think on weekends, the CBN does not populate um, the exchange rate during weekends. So it's till the next working day. So what we can do is to populate the null with the previous non-null. So I'll right click on this central rate. Remember, the first thing I did was to sort the date. Okay, so that we have the true values. So I'll right click, go to fill down. So just click on fill down. All right. So now the only null that we have is this first one. Okay, so what we can do here is just if there's no record for this one, we can fill, let's see, we can fill up. So that way, any null cell that is upward will be filled by the previous non-null. So in this case, this null is going to be filled with 413.29. So I'm going to right click and then click on fill up. Okay, so that is it. I know that we've seen a lot. And yeah, like I would have really loved to show you so many things that you can do with Power Query. So probably maybe another time, right? We can have like a Power Query Masterclass part 2, but this way I'll be stopping for today. So Miriam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you for this wonderful session, Sandra. Yeah, we have learned a lot of things. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I think we can enter the Q&A session now. So if you have any question, please go ahead and ask. Thank you. And you can also drop your question in the chat.
Thank you for staying to the very end. Miriam, how do we pronounce this name? Sadakatula. I hope I get it correctly. I hope I was able to convince you and not confuse you that Power Query, there's a whole lot to it, and it can really help you, to boost the performance of your model, your analysis. So again, anything. So while we wait if you have any questions, like Miss Miriam said, you can drop it in the comments. So one last thing before okay, let me just end it with this. I'll say that if you have a data, okay, even before you start, even before you start cleaning, know why exactly you are cleaning the data. know why exactly you are cleaning the data. What results do you want to get from your data? What analysis do you want to get? So it's not just cleaning. Power Query alone is not just for cleaning. You can transform, you can structure the data to to your desired taste. Okay, so know why you want to clean your data before loading your data into Power BI. Remove the columns that you are not using. Trust me, if you don't, if you are loading it, so let's say you're working, you are doing an analysis, right? And your data is coming from a database. And in most databases, the way it's structured, you can have like over 60 columns. And some of the columns, you will not even use them ever. So remove columns that you don't need, disable tables that you don't want in your model. It will help to boost the performance of your model. When you're connecting models, connect one-to-many cardinality or many-to-one. Don't do many-to-many. That is disaster. When you're removing duplicates from your data, do not remove duplicates. Okay, I thought I was sharing. I thought I was sharing my I thought I turned on my video actually. So do not remove duplicates column by column. Remove duplicates from the entire table. Okay, so it should be row by row, because if you remove duplicates column by column, you might remove useful informations. Okay, so that is all I have to say. Thank you, Ebenezer.
So, does anyone have a question? Any question? You can drop your question in the chat, or probably you can unmute and ask your question. Any question? Any question? It seems we don't have any questions. So let me check the chat to see if we have any. Okay. So I think someone is typing. Let's hold on.
Okay, so Ebenezer is asking, saying that he saw when I merged the columns to form my unique key columns. And when do you actually apply this technique in data cleaning? Sorry, okay. So you apply it when you want to form your unique key. You apply this technique when your key is has duplicates, right? Or maybe you don't even have a key and you're trying to like create a unique key for your dimension table. So that's when you apply this technique. So when you don't have duplicates in your original key, maybe due to human error, or you don't have a key before, So that's when you apply this technique. So, okay. Are the questions limited to Power Query? You can ask other questions if you want to, but if from this masterclass you don't have any question, you can ask other questions. So basically, load is when you are done transforming, you are done structuring your data, you can now load it into Power BI, connect to your model or do your data modeling, and then start building your visuals. I think Miriam said you can unmute, if you want to, maybe you can't type your questions, so you can unmute and just, ask.
I think for us to move faster, you should just ask the question directly instead of typing if you have any question.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay.
So somebody said he can't unmute. So Sandra, could you please
So I think they can now. They can unmute. Ebenezer, you can unmute your mic. Edicon, you can unmute your mic too. I think we can all unmute our mics. Yeah.
Sandra, I think you have done a good job. Thank you for covering the extract. And what I'm actually struggling is the, unpivot, pivot, and unpivot. Basically, those are
okay.
some technical issues there. I have done Power Query myself. I tried it myself, self-learned it, and I had done, merge, append. Why I'm struggling is, on month or quarter by quarter.
Pivot and unpivot.
Yeah, because and also when it comes to the M codes, basically, yeah, if there is any error comes up, that's why I struggle. Where you normally put your formula like a conditional column when you add in conditional columns. By you input the formulas like as you normally do in Excel.
Sorry,
and so on and so
I didn't
forth.
get that.
When you normally when you add the conditional column, when you add a column with a conditional, whereby you input the formula, like as we normally do in Excel, when you do the conditional formatting, similar.
Okay.
That's where struggle comes in because it's not very familiar. That's mainly is because you did not come across. I myself, I didn't come across. So I'm still, picking up, still updating my skills, still learning. Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, I have
utilized.
I utilized by yes, you have done. You have covered. Is more than what I know. So thank you very much. So far, I think we have done. We extract. Obviously, extract is the data, which is basically uploading a data into the Power BI and then to convert into going to the Power Query, whereby we're transforming it how we wanted to the data to be presented. So the transformation is the second most important bit before we go further on to loading it. Am I correct? Yeah. Whereby
yes, very important.
My quick question is in reality I work for costing analyst. I have data which is a whereby it's called a theater data whereby number of columns missing, which is basically date and timestamp. The number of core columns is missing. I use Excel. Pretty much I use Excel to fill in by using the formula. Yeah. Can I do that in Power Query?
Abdul?
Yeah, do you get it, Sandra?
I didn't know if you were asking a question. So please,
Yeah,
can you come
I am
again?
asking a question. I am asking a question. The data that I work is a complex if I'm doing it via Excel, whereby a number of columns with core information missing, which is basically core date stamp, whereby in Excel I use a formula to fill in those missing date stamp. Yeah.
Okay.
My question is, am I able to get that done via Power Query?
Well, so it depends, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, you should be able to, yes. Because there are times when you use Power Query
Yeah.
for some things, while
Yeah.
for other things, it is best to use your calculations to fill in those cells.
Yeah.
But
So
if it's
basically,
missing, if it's something that is missing,
yeah.
you can use your Power Query.
Yeah. So missing, whereby I have a formula. If missing, I can use the alternative column where it has the value. I can use the alternative columns to get that fixed. I know we can do, which you just show, we can do the filling the null columns by using the function up and down, but double right clicking it. Yeah. But this is I have to use the columns available, the information available on the either previous or column after it. Can that be done? Did you get my question, Sandra?
Sandra, you are muted. Sandra, you are muted.
Muted. Sandra is
Yes,
mute.
yes, please. I'm trying to change my internet, my network.
All right. Okay. Did you get my question, Sandra?
Okay, so I couldn't hear you. I don't know if it was my network.
Yeah, I think probably
Miriam,
you. So my question was, I know we can able to fill in if there are null in one column. Yeah, if there are null cells, we can fill it either by using the function up and down. Yeah.
Okay.
My question is, if a cell on the one column is null or blank, can we use value on the either previous one or the column next to it? That was my question.
Yeah.
Can you quickly demonstrate, if you just to show one quick demonstration, if you don't mind?
Miriam, do we have the time for that? Okay. So Abdul, so I'm going to need your help here, right? Maybe you can just like give me like a sample representation. So don't worry, you don't need to show me, you don't need to upload any data, right? I'll manually enter the data. So just something of 2 to 3 rows. Is that possible so that we can demonstrate? like how this data typically looks like, so that I can really, get the full picture.
So in theater data, we have an anesthetic column, theater column, yeah, and then the operation. So this is the 3 columns, for example. This is core columns, yeah. So for example, the anesthetic date time is missing for 1 row, and then there is a data on the theater column.
Okay, Abdul, so just
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
are going to be fast with this because of time.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
Okay, so
you put,
all right, so give
you
me the
put A.
columns.
Yeah, anesthetic, just put A, and then
Okay.
Next column T, theater,
D.
T for tango, theater,
Okay.
yeah. And then C, column D, probably put operation, just put the O.
So let's say, oh, okay.
Okay. And then come to column A, row number 3, put some date, put some date.
Okay, so let's say today's date.
Yeah, date and time.
5. Sorry. 2026. Let's
Yeah.
see. 4.
Then
0000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the next row in the T, you're missing it.
Okay.
Okay, column T, put some column T, put some value.
Let's
Maybe just put the
say
same. Just put same thing. Just to say, for
T.
the no, just put T and time. Anytime, date and time.
Okay. Let me just copy this.
Yeah, just copy and paste it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
And then column O, column D, leave it blank. Column O, leave it blank. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And then next row, leave the column B blank and column T value.
I should put a date and a time too.
Yeah. Just put it there.
Okay. So let's
Copy.
see if we can. So we have a
And
different.
and then column D, put some value. Same value.
Date and time too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
right.
column row number 5.
Okay.
Yeah. Miss the value and then put some value on the column D. Sorry, put some value on the column B.
Okay.
And then column C, miss it, blank it.
Okay.
And then column D, put some value.
All right.
Okay. So my question is, we can fill it if it is in one column, we can fill it either by up and down, yeah, using function, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My question is 3 columns, yeah. If I want the column B, for example, row 4, if I want to use a value in column C to update it on column B, row 4.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my question.
Okay.
Can we do
for? Okay.
You with me?
Yes. Yeah.
Can I do it via Power Query?
Yes, you can, using the you can use the condition, like you can create a conditional, but then you have to create a new column.
Yes, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, I have to. But yes, in typically in Excel, I have to create like extra columns. I use the formula. I use the formulas to get the columns filled in, where all the missing value for the missing value. Okay.
Yeah.
So and then I create a. Yeah, you got it.
Yes, I get it.
So I do have to. I do have to create conditional columns with conditional formatting. Yeah.
It's not conditional formatting, but yeah, conditional column. Yeah.
Yeah, conditional. Sorry, what I meant is the conditional columns with conditional.
Yes.
All right, I got you.
So you can either do it in Power Query or you do it in your Excel.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to automate it. Basically, it's a lot quicker. So next time I don't have to worry about it. Because in Excel, I'm
Yeah.
doing it Excel. I'm doing it in Excel, but I want it to automate the process.
Automate it so that whenever new data gets added, and if there's
Yeah,
blank
exactly.
in those cells, it just
to refresh it.
automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that can work in Power Query.
Sure. All right. Thank you. I
All right,
presume
thank you, Abdul.
your battery is getting lower. I can see.
Yes, it has been
on
through a
laptop.
lot of Power Query today.
Yeah. Thank you, Sandra. Much appreciate for your
Thank you.
effort on coming up to show us. I know it's a very demanding. It's a new technique. It's a lot. It saves a lot of time if you know Power Query on both Power BI and obviously Power BI is automatically it's essential. It's mandatory using the Power Query within Power BI, but not many people know aware of it can be used on Excel as well.
Of
So
course.
it's also very time saving. So thank you very much appreciate for
Thank you,
coming
Abdul.
up and show us the masterclass in Power Query, and thank you very much for Mariam organizing it. Much appreciate. May God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Abdul, for your question. Yeah. So hi, Miriam. So maybe another time though, we'll have like a Power Query Masterclass Part 2 because there is so much that you can do with Power Query. Abdul said something, he said pivot and on pivot. Time will not permit us to go into that. So hopefully in another masterclass. Hi, Miriam.
All right, Sandra. Thank
Okay.
you. I think we don't have any more questions. So we just have to say thank you once again for this wonderful section. And we hope to have you again if you have the time. Let's send your are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello. All right.
Hello.
So yeah, I don't think we have any more questions. So we just call it a day, or we call it an afternoon. All
All
right.
right. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So the recording will be shared, and yes, you also have the slides and probably the data set